So right here in front of me, we have three different weapon systems that are very common on the battlefield today. They all do roughly the same thing, but they operate in very, very different ways. We have the AR-15, which operates on a direct impingement gas system, the the AK that does long stroke gas piston, and the SKS that does short stroke gas piston. And these are the bolt carriers for each of them. I'm going to show you how they work, and then I'll explain why it actually does matter beyond just like kind of a technical fascination. So the AR-15 series operates direct impingement, which, as most Westerners know that have operated this, there's a gas tube there that collects and diverts gas from the bore, sends it back, and shoots it directly into this spot right here, and that sends the bolt carrier group back and drives it home. It pushes all of those gases directly into the action, which at first that may sound bad because you are putting hot, dirty gases from the ammunition into the action. You can get it dirty, grimy, and builds up carbon over time. Turns out to not really be that big of a deal as long as you're using modern ammunition. It's pretty reliable overall, but it is one of the dirtiest systems. You have to clean out that action a bit more often, at least to armory standards. In contrast, the AK series operates a long stroke piston system. And this does basically the same thing where it collects gas up here, but what it does differently is that it has this long piston system. So what ends up happening is the gas builds up pressure here and drives the piston back, cycling the whole piece before allowing it to reset. So all of that dirty gas is accumulated in the gas tube up here. It doesn't get in this action as much, which helps keep it clean. And it was a more common design back in the day when the AK was invented. And then we have the SKS. The SKS operates a short stroke gas piston. So you'll notice even though it fires the same round and has a lot of design similarities with the AK series, it's a much smaller bolt assembly. And that's because it integrates that piston system into the forward action here. So you have the gas tube that builds up the pressure, and then you can kind of see it right there. That is the short stroke piston. That is a spring-loaded piston. So when the gas accumulates pressure, it builds up and it pushes right here, and it's enough of a whack that it sends it back and drives the next bolt home. So pretty cool just in how different engineers have come up with different solutions to the same problem. But when we actually go to shoot it, it actually matters more than you might think. The big thing here is mass. So you'll notice that the AR-15 and the SKS bolt assemblies are quite small and lighter relative to the AK series. And where this manifests is both in rate of fire and also the feel of how you shoot. The bolt is one of the driving factors of how fast the rate of fire can be. So the AR-15, because it has a lighter bolt assembly, it accelerates faster, comes home faster, versus the AK, which, because it's heavier, takes longer to go back and go forward. That means that the AR is going to have a slightly faster rate of fire than the AK series. Not that big of a deal, but that's part of the reason why. The other issue is from the shooter's perspective, because this is less weight, because it's just going from here to there and back. It's a nice, short, and fast, rapid movement and not a lot of weight changing. It doesn't feel a whole lot like much to the shooter. It's a very snappy cycle back and forth and back and forth. Whereas with the AK series, what ends up happening, because there's so much mass here and it has to travel a long ways to do it, what ends up happening is that the center of gravity for the shooter, as this comes back, the center of gravity shifts from up here to way back here and goes forward. And that's not something that you're really going to perceive it consciously as the shooter because it happens so fast. But that is what gives the AK its distinctive feel, that ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And the shooters, it's not necessarily a recoil, but the gun just kind of bounces around in weird ways. Whereas stuff like an AR-15 and even the SKS, they feel a lot snappier. You shoot and immediately the round is ready to go. And a lot of that is because that bolt is just so much lighter relative to the weapon system overall. That AK, it's just so heavy and it changes the center of gravity so much. The shooter can subconsciously feel it. And it just feels kind of weird. You know, that's not to say it's bad. You know, there's plenty of reasons why you might want to run an AK for whatever reason, or maybe it's just all you've got. But it is one of those things of like, oh, this is an older weapon system. This is how it was designed. And you just got to know it if you're going to operate it.